Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga, etc. And I'm here to bring the review for My Hero Academia episode 84. Within this episode, we start off with the night before, I should say, really, of the festival, the culture festival, and we then skip. Yeah, so we start off with the night before, and it's during this time where we find out that they've been practicing really hard, and because of these practices, some of the props, mainly the rope that they need for their performance is at a dangerous point. I think the word that Deku uses that it's frayed, but there's a possibility that it could snap during the actual performance. So Deku decides that tomorrow morning he's got the time kind of to go out and get a new rope. So before he does that though, in the morning he has a practice session with All Might which goes longer than they expected simply because he's got his upgraded gloves now. So he got all excited about that. He wanted to practice with them, so he ran over time. But while he's out getting the props that he needs so the show can go accordingly, he bumps into the gentle criminal who he was able to figure out who he is simply because of his ritual and hearing his voice previously. So upon finding that out, Deku gets into not really a panic, but he goes into hero mode, and he knows that if the alarm sounds, he knows that the culture festival will be cancelled, and because of all the work that's been put into it, and you see this when we know this because when we see Deku flash back into his dance practices, the band's rehearsals, and just everything that happens with flashback is there to just emphasize that they've put a lot of hard work into practicing and just everything that it means to not only class A but the other students that were shown within this episode as well, and the other ones, but you can't show everyone. So Deku decides to take matters into his own hands and stop Gentle Criminal. He even says to him like, "Yo, like, why are you doing this? If you're not doing it for a very good reason, you should stop." Coach Festival means a lot to us. I feel like that's really hammered in within this episode. Within this episode as well, we learn that Gentle doesn't really have no villainous intent. He just wants to break into the school because he knows he'll get him the views and the popularity that that he requires. Also within this episode, we find out his quirk elasticity. Anything he touches, he can turn into rubber band mode, so everyone can go trampolining on it. And we find out that he himself can't turn the things back, but after a while, they will return to the normal state. And now I know the episode was entitled Deku versus Gentle, but really and truly, upon being discovered, General just really wants to get rid of Deku, so he does a lot of running within this episode. But we do see that not Deku, Gentle is kind of fairly strong. He does survive a wind pressure attack from Deku using his new glove, so there is some strength to him, and we know that when it comes to mobility, he ain't no scrub either. Using his elasticity, he does move pretty fast around Deku. Deku is able to predict his movements somewhat and still hit him, so he is giving Deku a little bit of trouble, but he's not really fighting at the end of the day. And as the episode goes on, as they move location, uh, it is La Brava who starts to feel, especially at the end of the episode, it's like, you know what, maybe I need to hop into this as well and use my quirk. So La Brava doesn't seem fairly confident that Gentle could beat Deku one on one, so she's therefore going to hop in there as well. That's the majority of the episode. We do have like the little side piece where we are in the day of the festival. It is getting closer to the time of the festival, and people are wondering why Deku isn't back yet. So for anime only watchers, I'm going to ask you: do you think the alarm is going to be sound? Do you think Deku will be able to deal with this himself, or do you think that his class members will start to panic, thinking, oh my gosh, Deku is not back in time, and go out looking for him? Or do you have any other scenarios do you think that might happen? I'm going to give this episode a 3-star rating and call it a review. Like always, guys, asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.